Good morning. Happy Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. It's time to build some AI skills with George and Nico. How you fellas doing today?
Wait, isn't it George, Nico, and Chris?
I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure there's three of us on the show. I'm not sure how that really works, but I'm doing great. Doing great.
gotta put the stars out front, man.
Oh, then you should have mentioned yourself first, I guess, huh?
What's going on
Doing
today, Nico? How we doing?
doing good, doing good. Today is it's an amazing day. Had it seems as though the pattern for shipments, at least there's an early pattern. I'm not going to say that this is like the way it's going to keep going, but so far we've had the product release for O1. We had a feature release for O1. Then we have Sora yesterday, or I'm sorry, not yesterday, but we have Sora on Monday, and then yesterday we get Canvas, Canvas for everybody. So super excited about that. Have there's covering it like really quickly. Well, there are two things. One, I actually do have a gripe when it comes to using GPT that it's even though you can use like Canvas in like now you can use it in custom GPTs. So you have like it's not just in like regular 4 now or 4.0 like now you can use it in custom. So I'm not sure and I think that extends down to 4 users as well. So I know that we've shown off what Canvas looks like, but the big the big difference yesterday is that I mean twofold, right? So let me just pull this up really quick.
I think we've shown it once out of
Hmm.
lots of shows, so definitely doesn't
Yeah,
hurt
one
to
one
show it
time
again.
out of many shows.
So it's just so again the first day we had O1, which I'll get to use fairly soon, but at least I can use Mini later. Yes, I did max it out on I think on the second day I maxed it out. So obviously we've got our regular attachment, we've got web search, and now we also have view tools, right, where you can do picture with Dolly search or you can do Canvas. What's really cool is this. There's a little bit of cool intelligence that goes on where if the call seems like it's going to be related or like even if you just enter something in that seems like plan related, all of a sudden you get like an opening canvas view where you can just start running it in that fashion. So let's go ahead and start.
So at a high level, let's remind people what Canvas is.
Canvas is it's like a way for you to work within GPT, right? So let's get the response. Sorry. Okay, so it's a way for you to work with GPT on like a more in-depth level, right? So you're able to not just get the response from GPT, but you're actually able to come in here and you can highlight text if you need like additional explanation to it. If you wanted to write it in a different fashion, you could have it do it in a different style or do it in a different learning level. Bottom right here, you've got suggestions. So you can adjust the length, reading level, add a little bit of polish to it. If you're doing social stuff or whatever, you can do emojis. And you notice when I float around, there's like a little section that you can highlight and click into. So you can either edit that one section in and of itself or get it to give it, have it give you an explanation on what the purpose is of that section, why it put it there. So it's kind of funny that like I can just read down the line here. But the other thing that's been really interesting that got introduced yesterday was the ability for it to write, edit, and actually execute code. And specifically, it is Python. So I would love to just go ahead and run this demonstration. I want to see if it actually takes over
And so
and does it.
similar to artifacts in Claude, whatever you're doing in the canvas, whenever you hit enter, it's just like another chat response activation.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I have not played around with this enough. My first go with it yet. Well, I shouldn't say I haven't played around with it enough. I'm too direct in like what it is that I'm looking for. So when I was using it yesterday, I was just asking it, "Hey, design this in Python and run it in Canvas," as opposed to like asking it for demo step by steps.
I remember George being super excited when Canvas became available. What did it what was the unlock for you, George, when you started?
I mean, listen, from a writing perspective, but even in this code example, in a writing perspective, the fact that you can fine tune it, you can modify it, the length, it'll give you suggestions, you can tweak one area, you can type right in it, Grammarly works in it. So like from a content writing perspective, and the fact that it works in GPTs now, by the way, that's the custom ones, because now you literally have custom GPTs that hopefully you've built for clients or yourself or whatever, and you want to write and use Canva in those custom GPTs. Like I immediately was like, oh, I need to just go ahead and go do some superhuman framework stuff inside of my custom GPT and see what Canva allows me to do, or Canvas allows me to do. So it's just it's a simpler way to work. To be honest with you, when I first was like, I don't need a Word document anymore. I don't need Google Docs. Like I can go right from here to like HubSpot or WordPress or wherever I'm going to put my content, and then kind of humanize it and finish it off there.
Yeah, and it's if you've used any of the so like in the same way that you use this for writing, now you can use the same thing for coding, right? So if you've used like Cursor or you've used Replit or you've used even GitHub, you know that there's like little code helpers that can do just that, right? They help you fix your code, they help write code, and so now you have that same capability to be able to do code review, port language, fix bugs, add logging to it, or add comments to your code. So it's all the same functionality, plus the fact that you can actually run the Python code.
This is
That's
Installs the
interesting.
packages for you, right? So that you can actually see this output, right? And one thing I want like people to note,
okay.
well, like a few things. This is all within 18 lines, right? If we wrote this in Node, I'm not entirely sure, but it's almost 2x that. And then again, you can actually what's a little crazier. I'll see if this actually. I would love to see if this works. You can design like whole programs in Python. I don't know that this is like as in depth as Replit, like it's willing to go and do that kind of stuff. I also don't know. You know, the code is definitely something that you can obviously copy paste and pull into your own GitHub or Git repo and reuse somewhere else. But and
Yeah, and I think this is another like it's gonna be so interesting to see how these things converge, like as the the um the apps that are specific that get specific to use cases like Replits and Cursor, where they're designed for software development and does all the code things and sends all the packages and shows you what's going on like as it's doing it and constantly asking for feedback, right? Um, when we try to do stuff like that in Claude or GPT, it's been like, okay, we build it over here and then we can copy and paste it, and then like there's still that gap. But now like this is a movement from GPT towards the direction, just the ability to preview what the code is doing before going to the other place, right? Um, as these apps come together, uh, like it's gonna be this is what we mean when we say like how hard it is to develop products for this ecosystem right now.
Man, it's just
And
chugging away right there. Like it's going for it.
yeah. And what's really interesting about this to me is, oh, trying to update. I'll clear the canvas. Okay.
Well, it tried. You got a lot of the way there.
It's interesting because it seems like it's still going. So I'm not sure if I want to stop it or not.
And so when we
Okay. Oh,
hear,
wow. So it just picked up where, not necessarily picked up where it left off, but nearly.
and so when we've heard in the past about like 8-year-olds building video games, it's generally been, um, I mean, they're doing things like this in various tools, and uh, now as GPT starts to add on functionality, like you get, it's kind of like most platforms when you start to consolidate the space where most of the data is and most of the context is, you can iterate, faster before you need to take it off, you know, somewhere else to have it interact with, the rest of the world.
Is it below it? Like, see how there's an arrow that's pointing
Yeah.
down below your graph? Like,
I know. I can't seem to.
oh,
There we
oh,
go.
so it's trying to. It's working. I mean, you did
It's
tell it to
loading.
like
It's
create an
almost like,
entire thing.
I know. It's so, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe
Well, why
maybe
why
going
we're
slow because who knows how many people are
while
using
we're
this, right?
waiting on that, do we want to bounce to the app of the day?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Sweet, we can do that, and then we'll circle back around and see what's going on and continue to talk. So I'll share my screen because it's funny you basically gave me like the flavor of what I wanted to do, and so like let's say you're an educator and you want to educate the world on the fact that you can now use Python in ChatGPT's Canvas feature. Well, I could start here and I could write the article, which is all well and good, but really what I want to do is I want to be able to create a quick PowerPoint. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to copy this information. I'm going to come over to Gamma, and I'm going to create a new Gamma. I'm just going to say that I want to paste some text in here, and I'm literally going to paste the text that I just copied from the GPT that we did. I could say website, I could say document, but today we're going to just stick with a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to go ahead and look for this, like notice traditional, tall. I'm just going to do default here. I'll hit continue. I'll tell it that I actually want it to like generate, be detailed. I could give it some more information over here if I wanted to. Images, I could say whatever. I'm just going to leave this. I'm going to say 12 cards because that seems like enough to talk about in like 30 minutes of a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to hit continue. I'm actually going to pick a theme. So I'll just come over here and I'll say like custom, and we'll pick the, let's see, super admin theme. And we'll just say generate because I want to be able to teach people like what you can actually do with this new feature that we're talking about on the thing today. And so it's going to go to work and it's going to give me the information that I need to maybe start to present this. Now, will I keep all of this information? Probably not. I might cut it back a little bit. But I might like some of it. I might love all of it. But it's literally going to go in here. And again, I'm going to let it generate its thing. But as you can see, it gave me an image. It gave me kind of the beginning story. Look at here, it literally generated code in a computer, and we've got these things. And as far as, ooh, that's a nice little image. As far as like a launching off point, this is like in seconds of copying and pasting text. I literally have a document that is being generated, 12 slides for me, that now I can come through. And if I wanted to, let's say, change a color of something, I literally have colors, I have different headings. If I want to come over here and add imagery or web search, or if I want to add charts or bars, or if I want to add video from a certain place or I want to do a certain layout, I can take what it's given me to start and now turn it into whatever I want. And if I wanted to just add an additional slide, let's say I come up here and I go, oh, you know what? I need to talk about this one thing. I can now say, hey, I want to do this slide. I want it to have this side thing. And then I can be like, and just go generate this like image for me. I'm not giving it anything to actually generate an image off of, but it's going to like look. Or I can pick some of the ones that it already generated. And now I can just go to work on this bad boy right here. So that is Gamma. Again, I am just showing you like the briefest of brief things that you can see. Like, again, you can do documents. So if you wanted to create a PDF and you wanted to easily lay it out and have it where you could save it as a PDF, but then also turn it into a PowerPoint later, you totally can. Anyway, Gamma for the win as far as AI content and creating uh, PowerPoint presentations, documents, or even website. And again, I like it for the ideation purpose. Like it's never for me, it's never done. It's like let me see what you give me, and then let me humanize it and make it what I want it to be.
I mean, come on. Like, what's that? Oh man. I see. I knew I
Like
didn't even have to
that's one of
tell you
those.
which one to pick.
No,
Like, that was gonna be the one. It's just, it's so good, man. It's
that's the one
like
everybody's been looking for.
Yeah,
when
Gamma
you
is as an educator, it's lights out, game over. Like if you're even opening PowerPoint or Google Slides at this point, like unless it's for budgetary reasons, then I'll give you a pass. But I mean, Gamma isn't even that expensive to be honest with you. But like I think of all the teachers, and I'm literally talking about teachers in like schools, kindergarten, middle school, high school, colleges. Like you can have half your life back.
literally, like, the time savings. I mean, oh man. Like, I look forward
It's
to our workshop where you kind of put it in the context of your whole, content, uh, go to market with the superhuman framework. Um, just because, like, not only does it help create those things, it gives you the like the clay and the building blocks to finish that thing, but
Yep.
also I'm sure there's ideation, like the fact that you can go from slides to then a PDF. Um, but then we're going on to infographics and just all these different
Oh yeah.
things where you need a creative brief and we got to have a whole back and forth process just to do this part of the content plan.
Yeah. Well, here's
There's
what's fun too. Like, and I could get real nerdy with this. But a couple things. One, some of the social media images that we've used of late, we actually create in Gamma and export them out as PNGs and then use them on social because we can just get a real quick layout and some imagery. But here's what I'll also tell you is that you can do a couple real interesting things. Like you can have information inside of a slide, meaning you can click on a thing and it will expand and show the additional information right in that slide, and then you can close it and continue. So imagine like four boxes, but it's like it's just a line, but when you click it, it expands to like something else you want to show, and then it closes and then it expands. Linking like clicking on things, active things like right in there. Um, like there's just a bunch you can do. Like
yeah.
if you're listening to this or watching this, head over to YouTube and just search Gamma app and watch some of the tutorials, and you'll probably have your wallet out about I don't know, video 2, maybe video 3 at the most.
Well, that's a beautiful thing. Thank you for showing that off today. We
like to
got
me,
any
that's
Did we ever get mummies? By the way, I'm just curious. Did we ever get mummies on the screen?
so it working with it or like in prodding it a little bit more. It was trying to use like an external package, like a Python game specific package. So
You're muted.
Looks like
I just told it that like we can't run external stuff and it has to do everything internal. So there's a little bit of back and forth going on, but I'll say it's not like I don't know that Claude could zero shot it either. But then again, I will admit this is the first 24 hours I've spent even looking at Python. So I know how to work with Node better than I do Python. So it's a little bit different, but I am looking forward to seeing like what you can build out with this. But I thought what you said about the about it was so perfect because I came across a video last night of a artist in Italy who is using these robots, and there's multiple sculptors in Italy that are using these robots with like really fine, hone drills or whatever that go and cut marble into like the pretty much like the rough block of whatever it is that the sculpture is supposed to be. And
Huh.
it was the exact same thing, right? The artists all said, yeah, it does all the heavy lifting for me so that I can focus on the fine details
Yep.
because that's what really makes it, right? And the interviewer even asked him and said, but if the work is the physical aspect of like doing it and working with the material, then where is the artistry? And the artist said, in the idea,
Well,
right?
it's the idea and the delivery, and,
Right.
and then what people get out of it. Like we build artistic things so that others can enjoy it. Like sometimes I think we as creatives might hate ourselves a little bit because we put ourselves through these historically rough processes and progresses, like to get a thing out to the world where people go ooh, and that's when we get our joy. As soon as we hear the oh, we're like, oh yeah, we did it. We did it.
those aha moments. Um, yeah, I mean, we might hit on this every day. Like at this point, the gap of things existing or not existing, right? Um, uh, Talking to a developer friend last night who had prior to last week had not really seen Claude or any of the other tools. And I kind of showed what was possible with coding just at that level. So since then, he discovered Replit and was telling me about this project that he's been off and on for like 4 years, right? This app website idea that he's had, and he's tried to code it like 4 different times. And the farthest he got, he said, was like 30%. Took him 6 months to code that much. Uh, in 2 days, he's gotten to 40% from scratch. Like he just started again with Replit, and in 2 days, he got to 40%, and
Hmm.
it's blowing his mind. And it's like, and he agreed, he probably never gets that thing done. Like
Yeah.
if
Otherwise,
it without these tools, right? Now that the tools exist, he can bring his idea to life, right?
Yeah,
right.
here's here's an interesting thing I'd like your take on. I think there's a flip side to that because I think when you can get stuff done so easy, you start to feel like you're cheating. And when you start to feel like you're cheating, you start to wonder if you're actually as impressive or making as big an impact as you once thought you were when it was difficult to actually get to the action. So, how do you think humans are going to deal with when it isn't difficult to do 90% of the things that we have to do from a psychological standpoint?
I mean, if you're asking me, look, I it's not fair to ask me, to be honest. I'll be very honest. And I say that only because again, like I grew up with Blade Runner, I grew up with Lawnmower Man, I grew up with all of these ideas and I was still in the generation that we were in that like I had fantasy. I could fantasize about the future and what things would be
Yep.
like. And let's face it, work in the traditional sense has always sucked, right? Like, I don't know anybody who is like waiting in line to go sign up to be a burger flipper at McDonald's, right? Maybe, maybe they're out there. I don't know, but like nobody I know, right? But you hand them the tool to be able to do whatever it is they want to do. The meaning of life changes, the meaning of work changes. So it becomes this thing where like there's a there's abundance to a level where even though the heavy lifting of thought is being done for you, just like you were talking about with the presentation, just like this guy was talking about with the sculpture, there's still finite details. There's still like little things. There's still little nuances. I keep coming back to this, that like what's so here's what's kind of crazy, and I don't know, maybe super intelligence will figure this out. But I keep coming back to the scene from from Tron Legacy, where Flynn is talking to Clue, and Clue says, "I did everything you asked me to. Created the perfect system." And Flynn tells him, "Yeah, but the thing is, in order to be perfect, you have to be imperfect at the same time. And I didn't know that when I created you, so you don't know that." So there's something there, right? And yeah, that's the way I see it. I look forward to it.
Chris, what are your thoughts? Like, do you even think there's a mountain that some humans will have to climb from a
Oh,
psychological standpoint?
there's walls, like, and I'm looking for and exploring with uh, the AI tools we have at our disposal how to create doors in those walls for people, like give them grappling hooks, like to get over it. Um, because like like you say, I know there's people out there that uh, almost have identified with the fact that it's been hard work to get the thing done, and how can they move towards a identifying with the value of the ideation or the value of the fine detailing to actually finish it. And that's where it's almost like when you're talking to a salesperson, and you mention like, hey, like, marketing can do all this stuff now, and you just get to close the deals. Like, why wouldn't you love that, right? But there is this identification with the process that they're like, oh, it was me, like I was involved, or like I was important, like throughout the whole process. And that's where it's like, no, you're still like the process that we have is built on what you've done before. Like your importance is still there, right? And with all these tools, like again, it's learning and it's teaching, or it's even when it gets to the point where it's teaching itself, it started with learning from us. And all the inputs. That's why I think that the singularity conversation is interesting, because it won't, like, we will have to find other ways to identify and associate ourselves with the value that we're bringing every day. And uh, I think there's going to be people who are going to try and profit off that gap, and then there's going to be people like us that are trying to educate others so that they don't sit in that gap for too long.
And the easiest way to close the gap, to be very honest with everybody, is to come along and let's build some AI skills daily.
Have a great day, everybody. Well done, sir.